Welcome to another fourth quarter clutch recording. This time we are talking about fantasy football. This will be the final fantasy football video. I'm Noah Weintraub, and that's Brian Zeigler. And first, we're going to talk about overdrafted players, overdrafted, overrated players in the draft. Brian, who's your person?
I got Jimmy Graham as my overrated guy. Actually, he's going. I think he's going about 18 right now, which is right about the same as his quarterback Drew Brees. Okay, I know there's not a whole ton of depth in the tight end position, but when you look at the points that they generate, quarterback position generates so much more points than a tight end. Jimmy Graham in second round, even the end of the second round, way too high of a draft for a tight end. You got to be going for your running backs. Your even a number one wide receiver there would be better than taking a tight end and or a quarterback, a number one quarterback like Drew Brees. Go for those. Do not go for your tight end at the end of the second round. Way overrated, Jimmy Graham.
And my person is Colin Kaepernick. He had a really, really good rookie year, and he had an amazing postseason and almost won the Super Bowl with the 49ers. But losing Crabtree is going to be a big hit for him. Vernon Davis, yes, he's really good. But outside of Vernon Davis, he doesn't really have much else. Anquan Bolden is getting up there in age. Who knows who the second wide receiver is going to be with Mario Manningham hurt. And to think that he's getting drafted before Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, RG3, Matthew Stafford, and Andrew Luck is just absolutely ridiculous. Don't be the person that falls for that trap that thinks, oh, he did well last year, he can make anyone into a superstar. No, that's not going to happen, and you're just going to fall flat.
Wow. Can't believe he's getting drafted ahead of Matt Ryan. That's just insane.
He's getting drafted a round before Matt Ryan, two rounds before Russell Wilson and RG3, 3 rounds before Matt Stafford, 5 rounds before Andrew Luck, and 5 rounds before Tony Romo.
Wow. Remember, running quarterbacks are a higher risk for injury, so you better have a good backup if you're going for somebody like that. Dang. Wow.
Average round 4.6.
That's ridiculous.
And who's your underrated player?
So my underrated guy is MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew. He's going about 21 right now, actually. He's going behind Steven Jackson, Matt Forte, and who's the other guy he's going behind? Help me out, Noah. Who's the other guy?
He's also going behind Alfred Morris.
Alfred Morris, that's right. Alfred Morris, I like him. He's a great talent, but he only had one good year so far, and they're putting him at in the middle of the first round. Okay, I'm understanding he's great, but I mean MJD absolutely a top 10 running back, and he's going in the middle or late second round. I mean, come on, people, really. This guy's a fantastic running back. As long as he stays healthy, he is the number one guy for that offense. Plus, they added linemen. I mean, they're Blaine Gabbert. Yeah, like they're gonna throw that much? I don't think so. Maurice Jones-Drew is gonna be running like crazy. Get him. He is a number one in that offense.
And he used to be a top 3 fantasy option. You couldn't get him outside the third pick overall just 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
And my underrated player, he's really underrated. Chris Givens for the St. Louis Rams. He's going 120.4 wide receiver, and he is the number one option for the improved St. Louis Rams offense run by Sam Bradford. And this is a list of some people he's going after, which makes absolutely no sense. He's going after Kenny Britt, Josh Gordon, who's suspended the first 2 weeks, Sidney Rice, who's not even healthy, Stevie Johnson, who has E.J. Manuel as a quarterback. It makes absolutely no sense. And he had a pretty good rookie year. He had 698 yards, and he had 3 touchdowns. And they have improved offensive line with getting Jake Long. And also, people are getting scared off probably because of Tavon Austin. but a report in the St. Louis Today said that he thinks Chris Givens is going to do better than Tavon Austin. And Tavon Austin is getting drafted earlier than he is in current drafts, I'm pretty sure.
Even if he doesn't do better than Tavon Austin, both of them are going to do better than Josh Gordon.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
hands down. So you might as well draft him above Josh Gordon or Sidney Rice, who's got injury issues and is gonna. I mean, he's getting a little up there in age too. I mean, you might
Tavon
as well
Austin's
draft either
getting
one of them.
drafted at 90.3.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I understand Tavon Austin. He's a great talent, but I mean, he's a rookie, and there's a learning curve. There just is. You got to be wary of that.
And not everyone can be Wes Welker or Percy Harvin, so you have to cool your expectations.
Exactly. You got to see what he looks like in the actual NFL before you say this guy is a number one wide receiver. He's probably the number two in St. Louis right now, and Chris Givens is most likely going to do better than him. I understand that Tavon Austin and in return yard leagues, go for Tavon Austin. I'm with you on that. But in a standard league, I think Chris Givens is going to do better.
Absolutely. So what are your two draft strategies?
Okay, so number one, with your drafts, first thing, avoid crowded offenses. Okay, I mean, example, Denver Broncos. Okay, they brought in Wes Welker. They got Demaryius Thomas. They got some good tight ends, but then they also got Monte Ball. I mean, there's everybody and your mother on that team. Okay, that can just be insane. Okay, and they got one ball. There's only one ball. Okay. I like Demaryius Thomas. I think he's going to be the best, but his numbers are going to take a hit this year because there's a crowded offense there. So that's the first thing. Avoid those crowded offenses because the guy that you want is not going to get as much production as you want him to get. Number two, make sure you plan your buys ahead of time. Okay, figure out what guys you're going to target, and then make sure those buys line up with each other. Okay, I had a week 8 buy wide receiver, beautiful guy, fantastic player, Andre Johnson on my roster. Okay, on my draft board. I took him, and then the next pick was I was going between Torrey Smith and T.Y. Hilton. Both also had the exact same buy as Andre Johnson. Okay, I took another one because I mean I couldn't pass up two sick, nasty wide receivers like that, of course. But I mean, plan those buys ahead of time because they are important.
And my first draft tip is please check. If you're using Yahoo, it's not that hard. You press the yellow button or the red button, and you look at news, and you can see if they're injured or healthy. You don't want to be the person in your draft who's drafting in, let's say, the average 7th round, and be like, oh, Percy Harvin's still on the board. That looks like a steal. Let me draft him. And then your league mates make fun of you. Don't be that guy. Just check the report real quick. You go to players. You can see it real quick while you're drafting. Or don't be the person that drafts Aaron Hernandez. I know you think there might be longest yard 3 and you might get points for it, but that's not happening anytime soon. So don't be that person.
Watch out for those guys that are arrested.
And the other person is... The other tip is don't always go for your favorite players. Go for the best available players. If you're a Bills fan, don't be that person that tell your league mates, oh, EJ Manuel's going to be so good. You guys can pick your quarterbacks. I'm going to go with EJ Manuel. Or don't be that Browns fan that's going to be like, Josh Gordon's going to be so good. I'm going to get him as my number one wide receiver. Or etc. Just go for best available players. And the ADP, yes, it's good to use, but honestly, I wouldn't use it. I would just go by stats. If someone looks like they're going to do better, go with them. Don't go ADP. They sometimes lie because it's based on public league stats, and as you could tell by people drafting Aaron Hernandez, they're not always the smartest people or the most knowledgeable fantasy football person.
Yeah, the toughest thing about if you go and try to draft your own your favorite players too, you're gonna end up drafting like multiple people of the same team. If you rely on one team, most of the season, that I guarantee you, somebody on that team's gonna have a bad day, or the whole team's gonna have a bad day or something, and you're gonna lose that week.
And
So don't
potentially,
rely on that one team. It's not a good idea.
you would forfeit your bye week. The team's bye week, when they have a bye, if you have two, three,
Yeah.
four people, you don't have a chance in winning unless a lot of people get injured on the other team.
Yep, or you're playing some really bad backups or something that you're just gonna end up losing because you drafted all these other guys that you overdrafted all these other guys from your favorite team.
Also, don't forget the first game of the season is Thursday night, not Sunday. Don't be that person on Sunday who's going to be like, oh, Peyton Manning, let me put him in. Oh, no, too late. Yeah, don't be that person. You don't want to forfeit a
Yeah,
week.
set those lineups early.
As soon as you draft, you should already know who you're going to start.
Yep. Cool.
And that's it for our fantasy football video. We will be doing another one at some point, but not sure yet. Also, we may potentially be doing live blogging for football Sundays. We will decide on that, so check out Fourth Quarter Clutch for more football analysis. I'm Noah Weintraub.
I'm Brian Zeigler.